let's button one of these.
Okay.
And then that way, that Tascam doesn't pull on the shirt. Yeah, now it's flat.
That's a fine look.
You're looking dapper, by the way. Has anyone told you lately how dapper you are? Is the other fuzzy thing available?
Let's see if the other fuzzy things available.
All right.
Oh my god, we have 3 fuzzy things.
Yeah, I don't know why it comes with 3 fuzzies.
Like,
what they do.
What is?
You go ahead. Go ahead.
I got nothing. Every once in a while, a railroad wants to come out in me. I like the other night I trained with Max.
Okay.
And
Strong Max. Electrician Max.
In the time that I trained with Max before, I said, okay, we're just going to flow a little bit and just see where this goes. And
how old is Max?
Max is probably 32, 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah.
You know, and I just said, okay, we're just going to flow. And all of a sudden he came on a little bit too strong. And I said, okay, chill a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay to do, because and I said to him in the middle of our class the other night, I said, listen, so I want you to succeed and you want me to succeed. And before you know it, he was saying, Dave, am I going too hard? Dave, am I going too hard? Is this good? Is this good? And I said, yeah, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay because I'm older than most.
Yeah.
And I want to walk out of here feeling great.
Yep.
And if it takes me 25 years to get to my goal, that's okay too. That's okay too. You know, and that helps me too.
Why does it help you too?
Because I like helping people.
Yeah, right?
So because that makes me do the Irish jig, you know, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. This was the best thing that I ever started in my life.
Really? Why is that?
Because I always wanted to do a martial art. And then when I saw how difficult this was and how important using your brain and using your emotions and being physically active and listening, it was exactly what I wanted to do.
Do you remember the moment when you decided to make the phone call or reach out?
It took me 5 years to decide what martial art I was going to do.
Really?
And then 2 friends of mine who, they're not really, they're acquaintances, but they're friends. They're black belts in other forms. They came up to me one day at 2 different times and said, Armstrong, I think Jiu Jitsu is for you. And then another time, another one came up to me and said, Armstrong, I think Jiu Jitsu is for you. And that's when I said, okay. And 3 days after I retired, I stepped through the door.
What made you decide to come to this gym as opposed to any other gym? It's just location, pretty much?
It was location, but I also heard that the other gym was not the right place for me.
What does that mean?
That meant that the senseis were much more qualified than the other gym. And that's what I wanted. And the first day I remember I worked with you, I came with my friend Todd.
Yes, I remember Todd.
Yep, Todd is quite a large man, and he still is. And I was like, oh yeah, this is for me. This is for me.
Why do you think that you realized it was for you and Todd didn't decide it was for him?
No, but the other side of jiu-jitsu is I tell people this all the time, because I have a lot of people that come up to me and say, well, I want to do it. I said, well, do you have the time for it?
Yeah.
And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, you got to have the time for it.
Yep.
You know?
When you try to explain to someone that you have to have the time for jiu-jitsu, what does that mean?
So, as far as I'm concerned, like, I went to Pedro early in my career and I said, Pedro, is 3 times a week enough to go? And he said, absolutely, Dave. And so in my head, 3 times is what you need. And that's what I do. I do 3. I tried to add 4, and I did that 2 weeks in a row, and my body said no.
It's hard.
So 3 is good for me, and that's you have to be committed, both mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other side of it. At someone my age, you got to be fit if you're going to try this. In the very beginning, my shoulders were sore for almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had that L4, L5 spine issue. And I knew Steven by then.
Mm-hmm.
And my physical therapist said, okay, it's your turn. Now see, it's Steven's turn. And ever since I started training with Steven, my body feels so much better.
Steven's a very talented strength trainer.
Yes.
He's also a student here that doesn't like confrontation, but was willing to do it because
Exactly.
sharing the truth means
Right.
that the stories that permeate the culture become ones that are altruistic, but also meaningful in a way that it helps build the whole team up.
Exactly.
Why do you think that jiu-jitsu requires so much communication?
Because as far as I'm concerned, there's so many different aspects to the sport. Like you must communicate. You must communicate with yourself as well.
Mm.
You must walk through the door and say, I don't care if I get tapped 800 times. I don't care if Sensei says, Dave, you're doing that wrong. Do it this way, please. You have to set your ego up to accept constructive criticism in order to take a positive step towards your goal.
Do you think your time on the mat has influenced your communication outside of the mat?
My communication outside of the mat has always been good, and that's why I think jiu-jitsu is good for me. However, there's been times in my life where I don't want to disappoint people.
Mm-hmm.
But now, this, along with working on myself, has helped me with that.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Did this activity allow you an opportunity to work more on yourself than you expected?
1,000,000%. And that's exactly what I needed, because when I retired, I started on the railroad when I was 23. I retired on my 60th birthday.
Wow.
I had a plan that I was going to start a martial art.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God I did, because I think there would have been major trouble in my life if I didn't have that plan. So, because my wife had retired 3 years prior to me, and I think she didn't think that jiu-jitsu was going to be my saving grace, because I probably would have lost a bit of my emotional well-being.
Starting a martial art is difficult, and jiu-jitsu and judo are very difficult martial arts to choose from, right? I think that many people move to martial arts because they're in a transition in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever that transition may be, I think there's this underlying idea that I'm not sure how I'm going to get to the next stage, but maybe if I just focus on building up my physical capabilities, that perhaps my mind and spirit will catch up. Does that have an impact on you when I'm sharing with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I was. I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, but by far, this is starting jiu-jitsu at Elevate. Absolutely helped me, and it opened up the next phase of my retirement or my life. And I'm not just blowing smoke up in the air. That is the absolute truth. Because I'm pretty strong emotionally. Because like I've said, I've been through a lot. And it's taken me, the better part of, I'm just going to say it. I've been sober for 34 years, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And through that 34-year journey, I've gotten emotionally stronger, stronger. Been married for the same amount of time. Raised 2 kids, 30 and 27. Those kids are doing great.
Nice job.
My kids are doing very well. And, but if I didn't start that emotional journey 34 years ago, there's no way I'd be here doing jiu-jitsu.
What do you think prevents people from walking into a jiu-jitsu gym like Elevate?
Mm-hmm. I think, so the very first time I walked through the door, I was petrified.
I keep hearing this.
Yeah. I was petrified. But the very first day, Sensei took over. And then I started playing, and I gotta say it, like 2 weeks in, I was petrified, sitting in a corner, and Malcolm Peoples went like this to me. And I don't know if I've told you this story before, but Malcolm came over. He goes, "What's the matter? Are you okay?" I said, "No, I'm petrified." He said, "Yeah, let's just roll." But he saved me that day.
Mm-hmm.
He saved me that day. And then that just opened up my world. And he said, "Dave, there's nothing to be scared about." I said, "I just didn't know." But yeah, so that's the story.
I wish the world had way more Malcolms, right?
Yeah.
Just as I wish the world had way more Daves.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, it's the truth. I think I have heard that many times from men and women, but we typically have more men coming in lately that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I keep hearing that, and this is usually from individuals that are retired or perhaps working in a professional field at an organization that's a bit more corporate.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep hearing over and over the word petrified coming in and petrified of getting on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a hard sell,
Well, it's all about individuals' egos.
Yeah. So what do you think about what do you think about, like, what's the reason why you're petrified? We'll start there. Why do you think that feeling was present?
Because I first of all, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, I hear you.
I did not know what to expect, and I had never grappled or wrestled before.
Sure. Okay.
And I said, okay. After the first class, I said, yeah, let's just keep coming.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep coming. And then one thing led to another, and here we are over 3 years later.
Never grappled or wrestled before. And no idea what the expectations are when you walk in.
Nope.
Or what to expect at the same time.
Exactly.
I mean, you're walking into a shroud of mystery that could have extreme danger behind it.
Right.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know. It's the most fascinating thing, jiu-jitsu. And again, like I said, I'm going to keep doing it until.
What might have made you feel less vulnerable ahead of time from walking into Elevate, if anything?
I don't think so, because it's individualistic. It really is. Like I think you have to go through that.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you have to go through that in order to figure out whether or not you're going to stick with it. Some people can't get over the fact of that vulnerability, or that, they can't get out of their own ego's way. So I think it's for some and not for others.
Mm-hmm.
We see people come and we see people go here.
Yes,
and
that's true.
And that could be because they can't get out of their own way. And maybe they're afraid, or maybe they're they don't think they're doing good enough. But at the end of the day, I describe this as learning a brand new language.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I'm just going to keep coming because I want to be able to speak this language fluently at some point in my life.
It's funny. This conversation reminds me, I think the actor Tom Hardy had voiced a similar concern when he first came in.
Yeah.
Me too. What a great actor.
Peaky Blinders.
Oh, yeah. He was one of my favorite characters in that. I don't know how he makes all those characters and accents. I think it's incredible.
He is a badass.
Yeah. And he's doing very well in Jiu Jitsu.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that?
I knew that I know that he does Jiu Jitsu. I think, I'm not sure. Is he a purple?
He's got to be at least a purple. He's been getting after it.
How old he is? He's probably what? Is he close to 50? You think?
I don't know. We're gonna have to ask the internet in a little bit. The age of Tom Hardy.
Ask Jamie.
Can ask Jamie. If only I had a Chris behind the scenes over there. But I believe Tom Hardy has an interview talking about him doing jiu-jitsu probably years ago now, and he was saying he was really nervous going in because he felt like, I'm an actor and I'm going to go into these guys' territory. Yeah. These guys are real fighter jiu-jitsu people. And he said it took him a little bit, but he realized he fit in just fine.
Oh yeah.
But I have heard this over and over. People are not just scared, but they're petrified of walking in through the door. Yeah. And part of me thinks it's the very nature of the unknown of am I gonna get beat up? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean but again, we'll go right back to what you said to me a year ago, a month ago, is only roll with who you want to roll with after your initial step through the door.
Yeah.
I like the help.
Yeah.
And I think some people just don't.
I think there's a part of cultures that are more representative in jiu-jitsu and judo than others. Mm-hmm. And so in Japanese culture, there's this idea senpai kohai. Have you heard of that?
No.
This is the cool part.
Okay.
So it's easier to see senpai and kohai usually in grade school. Mm-hmm. And so whoever's the upperclassman, they have a role to that's senpai. Mm-hmm. They have a role to kohai. Mm-hmm. The kohai also has a role towards senpai. Okay? So Japan loves hierarchy, right? But there's this deep understanding of the culture that the senpai is always supposed to take care of kohai, and kohai is also supposed to take care of senpai, but they're different roles.
Right.
So there's different ways to help. Mm-hmm. That's not just in grade school. That's in their business culture, and therefore it's definitely in their martial arts culture.
Wow.
Yeah. So Jigoro Kano, the founder of judo, develops the belt system. There might have been a reason other than that guy's talented and good. To get a black belt in Japan in judo is not nearly as rigorous as some other countries. I don't know if you know that.
Did not know that.
Originally, I think the black belt was helpful to people to see differences of skill, as in, if they're a white belt, please don't put them into competition. They could get hurt or hurt others. Mm-hmm. But if they're a black belt, they're good enough to actually start participating in the game that is judo. Or jiu-jitsu, as what it once was called.
Right.
Okay? Over time, the addition of colored belts come in from the French. Good job, France. That was a good idea, right? But when you have more ranks and you have different cultures understanding what ranks might be, sometimes we might lose sight that in the beginning there was only two ranks.
Right.
There was black, and there was white, there was senpai, and there was kohai. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay. We bring it to the U.S. culture. I'm not so sure American culture loves hierarchy. Not the same way as other cultures.
Right.
We can think of a few. I'm sure Germany likes hierarchy a little bit more. Maybe the Dutch, maybe the Japanese. Do you think Brazil loves hierarchy and culture?
Right. I would think so.
Maybe we'll have to look that up.
I think so. I'm not
gonna have
sure.
to look that up, Chris, a little bit. then it might be hard to find. Okay, but now let's just think of the U.S. Do you think people in the United States love the hierarchy?
No. And it's
What do you mean by that?
no, because I think a lot of times, and another reason why people have trouble walking through the door.
Yeah.
Two. Because ego gets in the way. That hierarchy, they don't want to be here.
They don't want to be here.
They don't want to be here.
They want to be here.
But in order to get here, in order to be here, to get there, you got to be here.
Yeah.
And then here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then here.
Do Americans like to be told what to do?
No.
Not usually.
Not even close.
Are Americans typically incredible at creating entrepreneurship and businesses compared to other cultures?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah, I think so.
It's kind of what we do. We have this thing called the American dream that if you work hard enough individually, you can get really far, right?
I mean, for me, I've had a plan since I started. You know?
This is wild. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've had a plan since I've started. And my plan is, the first day that I walked through, I met you. And then I said, okay, I'm going to help others. I'm going to help myself. I'm going to help others. I'm going to help myself. And then I'm going to bring life situations into that because that's what I'm good at here too. You know, if you need help with anything else, I'm available. And then before I know it, there was the circle continued to spin. And it's been perfect ever since, even though my ego gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
You know, like I was afraid I wasn't doing enough. And then all of a sudden, take a step back, Armstrong, assess the situation, folks, help, take care of you. Help, take care of you. Help, take care of you.
How do you think that we can help people invite and walk through the threshold of being petrified for men and women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s to join jiu-jitsu? What do you think can overcome the obstacles? What are the obstacles, maybe?
I think the biggest problem with that generation right now, or the 40 to 60, is a lot of men and maybe women. They're not fit.
Fair enough. Okay.
They're not fit.
Yeah.
So people don't like being on the mat or taking a walk and going like this. So that was my saving grace as well, is that when I walked through the door 3 years ago, I was fit.
That's very true. Yeah.
You know, so you have to, that is a problem. It is a problem in our society today, is that a lot of us are not fit.
Do you think if there was a program that we had that allowed people to join virtually and gave them the moves to work on and certain things step by step, that they can build up their physicality, and once they complete those, I guess, courses, that they would feel less petrified walking in through the door?
I do, as long as they're willing to do it.
I hear you. But now I'm thinking, like, if they're not willing to do that, would they even be willing to walk through the door in general?
I think because, like for men, I think men would go through that course.
Yeah.
And then because of their ego, say, oh, I'm going to complete this. And then once they're there, they might say, I'm not doing that anymore.
Oh, fascinating. So that's not a good idea, you think?
For some.
Oh boy.
I know. I think that's a super, super tricky.
Yeah.
I think would be tricky. But the bottom line is, you got to step through that door. Like that older gentleman, Mark, that stepped through the door.
Yeah.
Like I worked with him the very first night he was here. And this hurt, that hurt, this hurt, that hurt, this hurt. But he keeps coming.
Yep.
You know? So that's good. That's good. So hopefully he'll tell his fit friends, because he's pretty fit.
He is very fit. Yeah,
You know?
68 years old.
Yeah.
He came in very fit.
Yeah.
No background of wrestling or grappling or doing any of that stuff. And I'm like, wow, talk about being courageous. You know?
Yep. But again, for me, I want to be fit for the rest of my life, as long as nothing catastrophic happens. You know,
Can I just take a moment?
Sure.
I admire you so much, Dave, because you came into this at, oh boy, there we go. You came into this in your 60s, and I'll be turning 40 this year. And I think deeply, I'm like, would I have started this if I had never done this at all in my 20s or even teens? Would I have done this when I turned 40? And I don't know if I knew. Like, I would have to take out all my personality traits. I would have to take out all my obsessions, and it was just kind of hard to dial it back for me. But I was like, but would I have had the guts and courage to start something like this without even knowing all the benefits that I now know it has for my own life?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I give it a lot of credit.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I started this 3 days after my 60th birthday.
It's incredible.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, Armstrong.
Nice job.
Yeah, well done.
What's something that you've received from doing jiu-jitsu that in your wildest dreams you never would have expected would have been the case?
So, when I'm rolling with someone,
Yeah.
I have the patience just to wait, and I like hearing other people breathe heavier. So I like the fact that I'm fit.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that the sport makes me think a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially when you're under pressure, which I think is a huge life lesson. You know, like so when someone, you know, in life, when someone's got their thumb on you,
Yeah.
you know, I always was able to, but now I'm much better at it. Much better at it. So I think it just, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've heard people explain that similar feeling in a different way.
Mm.
Some of these people are still working. There's a gentleman that does sales, and he's a manager of a major brand. And he was chatting with me, and he goes, "You know, it's been weird." I was like, "Go ahead, I'm ready." He's like, "At work, I've noticed things have been changing a little bit, how I see myself at work." I was like, "Go on.
Mm.
Tell me the example when you realize this first."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Well, I was in this meeting, and there was this guy that was being really rude." I was like, "Yeah? He's being rude, just making people uncomfortable. He's kind of being demeaning." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Started to raise up some stress in you?" He's like, "Yeah." And then I asked him, "Did you suddenly realize that if this thing got out of hand, you could just strangle him?" And he looked at me shocked. He's like, "That's exactly what I thought."
Mm.
I said, "I don't know why that's a thing, but it is real."
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't make you violent or strange, or, well, maybe it makes you strange. I shouldn't say, but what I do notice is that as soon as he thought that, he goes, "I felt so calm afterwards."
Mm.
And then it didn't bother me.
Right.
And then I could see the situation clearly, where if I hadn't done this in the past, I would have been so emotional
Oh yeah.
that I would have probably lost my cool or let it bother me and not have seen the right way and how to maneuver and take care of that energy and move it back onto him that takes care of the deal. Where do we go now? We went far for a while.
I think we're done, guys. This is a lot of footage.
It's a lot of footage.
Really
That was beautiful.
That was nice.
It was beautiful.
You know what I want to do?
What?
I want to have more of these.
I don't know. I just like the fact that we're friends.
Me too, man. That was actually one of the things I was going to ask, if that was an expectation when you came to do jiu-jitsu. The fact that you were going to meet friends.
Well, I mean, I was, as you know, I'm pretty social,
Yeah.
but
Like the
again,
mayor of Elevate. He's like
Yeah.
the mayor of South
but
Kingston.
no, but I'm pretty social, but again, we're friends.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the majority of the people here are my friends,
Hmm.
you know, but friends here, you know what I mean? But if 10 people here, if one of them called and said, "Dave, I need your help immediately," I would be, "Yes, you got it."
That to me is one of the greatest strengths of
Yep.
having a culture like we have at Elevate.
Mm-hmm.
A friend in need is a friend indeed. Is that the right?
That's
Am I
perfect.
saying it right?
Yeah.
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 But I always try to explain like the true power of Elevate as an organization or the people within it. It's the network.
Mm-hmm.
People are the foundation of what we're building here.
Yep.
I can add that in right there.
People are a resource. Money on the table. People are the foundation of what we are building here.
So yes, judo and jiu-jitsu as vehicles I think are amazing, but that's because I love judo and jiu-jitsu. I love all the martial arts.
Yeah.
And I find that using the vehicles of judo and jiu-jitsu, I have a faster impact on improving people to help out the network that's within it.
Yep.
I don't know why strangling people helps them get over their issues,
It's just,
but it does.
It's a beautiful sport.
Right? And so I think one of the, now I know as a leader at Elevate that we still have an issue with working professionals and retired professionals being petrified of still coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious if that's because people are watching videos that make it look scary, if they're reading Reddit posts or whatever, and people have all these really interesting stories about their organizations not being great and toxic and crazy and all these interpersonal issues. And I also know that people don't expect to be able to meet so many people that they would actually want to be friends with.
Right.
Right.
So,
I think,
what a wild thing though, right?
yes.
What a dichotomy. People come in petrified people might hurt them.
Right.
And the outcome, if they stick around, they realize that people want to help them and want to be friends with them. And now their life is so much more rewarding because when something happens, there's someone that might have an answer.
Yes. Yes. Ego is the enemy. Ego is the enemy.
And so this is going to be
Yes.
an issue at the moment
Right.
of how do we make this a bridge to this.
Right.
And this to me is the greatest obstacle,
And that
is the fear.
And that means perfect training partners
Yeah.
or very good training partners with the newer people
Mhm.
that will turn them into great teachers when they get
Mhm.
the longer they stay.
A senpai and a kohai.
There it is.
There we
it
go.
is. There it is.
Anything you'd like to say? Anything else?
This was fantastic.
This is fun. We're gonna get more of these going. We're gonna get some other guests in here. I might have to get a bigger table, some other mics.
Going to need a bigger
Figure it out.
Tom Hardy is 47.
Oh, Tom Hardy's 47.
Yeah. And guess what? Brazilians actually do adhere to strict regiment of culture.
What do you mean by a strict regimen of culture? Of hierarchies?
Yes, hierarchies. That's what I meant to say. I'm tired.
That's okay.
They adhere to strict hierarchies. That's what AI told me.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I didn't think
To think
thought it was
about.
gonna be the opposite thing too, because Brazilians are like this situation. Like they're very like, oh, whatever. I'll show.
I'm gonna have to look deeper into this. There's a great book called The Culture Map that actually has they have plot points for where cultures are determining with different values
Okay.
or not just values, but also like how they take criticism in front of a group of people or privately, and how you deliver a critique as well. So I'm going to look at the culture map. I'm going to look at the book. I did it for my grad school, where I mostly focus on entrepreneurship and culture.
That's a very important point too, is criticism.
We're going to have to do another podcast on criticism.
Yeah, I like it.
So I would like to figure out. I'm gonna have to get the culture map back out, and I'm gonna have to plot out somehow, some way, the culture of the United States and where they fall with being able to take critique
Exactly.
as a collective culture.
I call it the little boy syndrome.
It's a thing. It's a major thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to assume that some of these cultures that can handle criticism more readily, I'm going to assume that they may or may not have other attributes that allow them to do things like this more readily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
Which is interesting, though, because I did look up how many people are doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, used to be Japanese Judo Jiu Jitsu, right? I have looked up how many people currently are doing Jiu Jitsu in the United States. 750,000 people.
Wow.
That's it. You know, you might think that's it, but one of the biggest judo countries in the world is France, and they have between 600,000 and 800,000 judo players.
Okay.
And people would say that's massive. Okay, well, that means in the United States, that's kind of a big number for jiu-jitsu, especially because I think most of this has really exploded only in the last 10 years. So that's something to think about. Like the number of judo players in the U.S. is probably crazy small. It's got to be between. If only we had someone with a phone that could look it up. But now the phone is being used for video.
Yeah.
I would guess that judo in the U.S. is tens of thousands.
So
Yeah. Spain judo says it's 120,000 that do judo in Spain. I would have thought that was higher.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing this number is growing of people who are doing jiu-jitsu in the United States, and I believe that number can quickly double if people can figure out
Yes.
how to enter the space without being petrified, knowing that there's good people on the other end.
100%.
And that probably means people who are opening gyms might need to start aligning with other individuals who are also running gyms that want to create professional
Exactly.
networks and
In the
gyms.
first day that you walk through, just it needs to be the best experience in the whole wide world.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
We have someone traveling right now. Maybe we'll have like other people that are visiting gyms, and Ernest's been traveling to other gyms lately in other states.
I know he went.
I think that's been a great experience
Ernest cracks me up.
because we'll go over this when Ernest is here, but he went to a few very prominent gyms, and I said, "So, if this was your first experience, would you ever go back?" And he didn't even think of it that way. He had I have to think about that. He goes, "Probably not." I was like, "Yeah, that's my point." Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was amazing.
All right. 2 hours done. That was wild.
Great stuff, buddy. Thanks for including me.
We gotta get this popping even more, I think.